are two theories of the indirect path to power. One is the education theory. Now, the education theory takes a number of different forms, but they all basically run like this. We must educate X into the rightness of Y, and then we will get Z. We must educate X into the rightness of Y, and then we will get C. The silliest form of this is we must educate the politicians into the true meaning of the Constitution, Ted. And then when they understand, like constitutional scholar Barack Obama would understand, the true meaning of the Constitution, they will stop violating it. If you think that that might work, please leave. You're unqualified to be here. But there's another form of the education theory that's more pernicious. That means bad. And that's that we must educate the people, whoever they are, into the true meaning of the Second Amendment, which is not about duck hunting. It's not even truly about defending your family and your property and your person, though it's pretty handy for that, but is there, as our founders intended, as a bulwark against government tyranny should it ever again come to that. And when we educate the people into the true meaning of the Constitution, then every American in the world will have constitutional carry without question. How many people believe that that will happen? There's some problems with this theory. Educating the people, whoever they are. Well, how are you going to do that? Let's say you're in Virginia, as many of you are, and where I lived for 25 years, and I have some, or used to have some reputation in Virginia politics. Anyway, I probably don't anymore. That's fine. There's about, I don't know, 8 or 9 million people there now, I guess, I hope, because the math won't work if I'm wrong. Which means there's, let's say, 5 million households. And we're going to send every household a letter, just one, extremely well written, very persuasive. We're going to send that letter to them, and we're going to get in the mail at the rather astounding price of 20 cents apiece. You also get every postal discount known to man. So 20 cents apiece, guess what? Guess what? You just spent $1 million. How many of you all have $1 million to spend on a mail piece? What do most people do with your letter? Throw it in the trash. Look, man, I am a professional mass mailer, junk mailer, direct mailer, whatever you want to call it. If I get 2% of the people to do what I want, send back money, I probably did okay. There's some it depends in there. 3% probably did good, 4% did very good, 5% awesome. If only 95% of the people don't do what I want, it's awesome. What do you think your enemies are going to do while you're sending this letter? You think Sarah Brady or whoever, Michael Bloomberg is going to see a copy of your letter and go, what have I been doing with my life and my money? Yeah, probably not. Probably going to be educating right back at you. How many of you have close friends or family that do not share some of the core things you know are true and good? Raise your hand. The point is this. If you can't persuade the people that are closest to your heart and life on the most important things, what makes you think you're going to persuade a majority of total strangers? But it's actually worse than that. It's not really even true. If the education theory were true, homosexual activists, up until maybe a few years ago, would never win any political fights. They're 1-2% of the population. But they've been winning political fights, you don't know this, for about 25 years. If the education theory was true, taxes would be going down in most, if not all, of America. Because every poll that anybody's ever taken says that Americans think that at the very least they're taxed enough, and a lot of them think they are taxed too much. Raise your hand if you live in a state that has raised taxes in the last 5 years. Raise your other hand if it was Republicans that raised your taxes. And hey, if the education theory was true, right to work, which merely says that you cannot be forced to pay money to a union boss in order to get or keep a job, that's all it means, would be the law of the land in probably every state. There might be one or two where they really do just want to give their money to the union bosses. Because every survey we've ever taken, I'm an old right-to-work guy, shows that between 70 and 85% of the people agree with that concept of simple worker freedom. And yet, right-to-work is the law in how many states right now? 27. Now, please don't misunderstand. I spend a lot of time beating up the education theory, obviously because I disagree with it. But there's some reasons, practical reasons, I do that. Virtually all of us came into politics, with the exception perhaps of the inventors who came in through getting their heads bashed in, apparently, through education. Probably at college or reading books, or maybe if you had a good home or homeschool parents and they taught you up to think for yourself and think right. Some form of education is probably what got you here. Certainly that's what got me here. So I don't want to say education has no purpose. That's not true. But the other thing is, especially for you young people, you probably just got out of college. And you probably, bless your hearts, like me, bless my heart, got out of college with a liberal arts degree. And the only thing you know how to do, you college graduates, other than drink beer, is write papers and do research. So education is the only thing you really know how to do. Now, if you went and studied engineering, now we got something. And by the way, if you did study engineering, you will get this stuff way better than the liberal arts, because it's levers and pulleys, man. It's levers and pulleys. Okay, so that's why I spend time on it, is to get you out of that mindset, which is comfy, and it's safe. And, you could go work for Heritage Foundation and, make a good living and write yet another paper on that Social Security is a bankrupt Ponzi scheme. That was true in the 1970s. It was true in the 1980s. It was true in the 1990s. It was true in the 2000s, the 2010s, and the 2020s. And it will still be true when they're still writing that paper in the 2030s. Education, and Kirk Shelley is really the one that gets credit for making it so clear in a sentence. Education is the servant of mobilization, not a substitute for it. That's worth repeating. Education is the servant of mobilization, not a substitute for it. Does that mean I have to stop writing my blog every day? Yeah, pretty good chance. Pretty good. But I'm winning the fight on Facebook. Here's the key takeaway point for the entire weekend. So write this down. Unless you are politically feared, you will not be politically respected.